Tonight, more than students are getting into the homecoming spirit.
Plus, students are smashing out melodies and notes. Stay tuned. TrojanVision Nightly News starts now.
From the high-definition digital production center on the Troy campus, with news from Troy University locations around the world, this is Troy TrojanVision Nightly News.
Hello and welcome to Troy TrojanVision Nightly News for November 15, 2012. I'm Sydney Todd.
And I'm Deatra Montgomery. Thanks for joining us this evening. From comedy shows to dance competitions, students are showing their homecoming pride. But what about the faculty and staff? Rachel Scarborough gives us a look at how some Troy employees are getting into the homecoming spirit.
On Thursday, the faculty and staff got the chance to get into the homecoming spirit by decorating their office doors and bulletin boards. One of the judges of the competition says that homecoming just is not for the students to participate in.
I think that faculty and staff need to get involved with today because it's just as much their university as it is the students. They come here every day. They're the ones that help make this place run so well. They're the ones that the students interact with. So this is just as much for them, homecoming, as it is for us.
And what was Akuzia looking for when judging?
I'm looking for the bright colors, the real Dr. Seuss feel, and then of course the Trojan pride. If you can incorporate Trojan pride with the fun colors and the excitement that Dr. Seuss brings to mind, especially since it's full of childhood memories, then I think you've got it. You're going to win if you can do that.
One faculty member tells us how her department got the inspiration for their office door.
We did the book by Dr. Seuss, I Can Read With My Eyes Shut, and so we changed it to We Can Win With Our Eyes Shut, and we've got Coach Blakeney, of course, as Cat in the Hat.
And how do the faculty, staff, along with the judges feel about this day?
For everyone to know, you want to have school spirit, and, we're part of the school just like the students are.
And I think it's great that we have this way for them to get involved, to kind of be creative, to kind of make it more fun for them.
Rachel Scarborough, Troy, TrojanVision News.
Student competitions will continue tonight with the annual skit competition at 7 in Claudia Crosby Theater.
One might expect when members of a music fraternity set up an instrument in a public place, they are planning on playing some tunes. Well, that wasn't the case today. And as Felicia Payne shows us, there wasn't necessarily a song being played, but it was definitely a hit.
Swing by swing, Troy University students helped destroy a piano Thursday afternoon. So how, might you ask, can destroying a musical instrument help create music? It was all part of Phi Mu Alpha's Piano Bash fundraiser to help raise money for local school programs.
In the past, we've raised money for the Charles Henderson for guitars for their middle school music class, and so it goes to anything that is needed around the community, as in music.
Students came out to the quad by the Trojan Center and for $1 got to take a swing at the piano with an 8-pound sledgehammer.
This fundraiser helps us to collect money for our philanthropy in the spring. All it is it costs $1 to come out and hit the piano and take out some stress, and it's the end of the semester, so I'm sure everybody needs it.
And relieving a little stress was on the minds of participants. The Piano Bash allowed students to let loose their inner Hulk since they got to smash.
Everybody likes to break stuff. We got finals going on, midterms and things like that, so a lot of people are stressed out, and this is a good stress reliever. Who doesn't want to come outside and break things and not get in trouble for it? And these are really great people, and it's a fundraiser going to a really good cause, and I also like smashing things.
Phi Mu Alpha's efforts aren't just destructive in nature. In the future, they hope to create some more opportunities to get others involved in helping local schools.
We're going to have multiple bands come out and play a concert for us. We're in the works now to try to get together some of the social sororities to have a skit competition in between the acts, maybe for a prize or something. And all of our proceeds from our philanthropy go towards local music programs.
Felicia Payne, Troy, TrojanVision News.
Phi Mu Alpha raised nearly $100 in today's Piano Bash.
With Thanksgiving just around the corner, one organization at Troy University wanted to help out the city of Troy by donating non-perishable foods. The Student Athletic Advisory Committee, or SAC, filled a truck with food items for Troy citizens who may need help getting a meal for the upcoming holiday. The organization said that this was a way to thank the community for all their support that they give to the school and the athletic department.
SAC committee, the Student Athletic Advisory Committee, wants to donate to the City of Troy for in thankfulness for all of their support, coming to see all of our games and everything they do for the athletes here. So we just want to give back to them.
SAC is made up of representatives from each of Troy's collegiate sports, and all of Troy's athletic teams contribute to the food drive.
And now taking a look at news from around the state. In Huntsville, the Madison County coroner says a 14-year-old boy was apparently wearing headphones when he was struck and killed by a train that was blowing its whistle. The coroner said that he has ruled the death of the 14-year-old Dylan Dwayne Jones an accident. The student was struck by the train Friday afternoon while walking along the tracks near Lee High School, where he attended. His funeral was Tuesday.
And in Mobile, leaders and activists on the Alabama coast are pleased BP will face criminal penalties for the Gulf oil spill, but they say civil payments are the real key. The executive director of Mobile Baykeeper Cassie Calloway said Thursday oil still washes onto the Alabama coast daily and criminal sanctions are warranted. She wants to know how much money will be available for repairing the environment.
And in Montgomery, an Alabama health officer says the state's Medicaid program probably will move to some type of managed care system. The Tuscaloosa News reports that such a program would operate much like private insurance functions, with commercial management companies or community-based care. The executive community of the Alabama Medicaid Advisory Commission met Wednesday to continue its task to redesign Medicaid with the aim of saving taxpayers money while continuing to provide adequate service.
And still to come on Trojan Vision News, the volleyball team is looking for something they've never done before. Justin McNally will be in to give us the story and more in sports.
But first, the attacks in Libya are a hot topic on Capitol Hill. We'll have that story and more after the break.
Top Republicans here on Capitol Hill question the Obama administration's handling of the deadly attack in Benghazi, Libya. I'm Danielle Nottingham. I'll have the latest coming up.
Today is a special day. Today we gather as a nation and as an international community to recognize the selfless decision of one of the most influential women of our time. She's been recognized by religious figures and politicians around the world. To us, she's just Rachel, but to the rest of the world, she's the woman who, after having one too many drinks, chose not to drive home buzzed. Here today to honor Rachel is the family whose lives she spared.
From the high-definition digital production studios of Troy University, you're watching the award-winning TrojanVision Nightly News.
And now for a look at what's happening across the nation and around the world, we'll go to Sydney Todd at the Global News Desk. Sydney.
Congress is looking for answers about the September 11th attacks on the U.S. consulate in Benghazi, Libya. Republicans charge the Obama administration put out misinformation in the days following the attack. They're grilling U.S. intelligence and State Department officials today. Danielle Nottingham reports from Capitol Hill.
Members of the president's national security team headed behind closed doors to answer lawmakers' questions about the deadly attack on the U.S. consulate in Benghazi, Libya. Congress is trying to piece together what happened before, during, and after the attack that killed Ambassador Chris Stevens and 3 other Americans.
We must have accountability.
At the one open hearing, Democrats warned against politicizing the investigation.
If you want an honest investigation of this tragedy, we will join you.
Republican Senators John McCain and Lindsey Graham are calling for a Watergate-style inquiry into the Benghazi attacks, combining the resources of both the Senate and the House. The GOP senators are outraged over interviews UN Ambassador Susan Rice gave 5 days after the attack. She said it did not appear to be pre-planned.
If Senator McCain and Senator Graham and others want to go after somebody, they should go after me.
Senator McCain did just that.
We believe whoever it is must be held responsible, I say to the President of the United States. Most importantly, the President of the United States, who is Commander-in-Chief.
Former CIA Director David Petraeus will testify on Friday. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton will talk to lawmakers once the State Department completes its own investigation. Danielle Nottingham, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Rocket attacks from Gaza killed a family of 3 in Israel today after Israeli forces assassinated a top Hamas commander. Israeli military says it's targeted the Hamas chief in retaliation for a series of rocket attacks launched from Gaza. The killing sparked even more rocket fire and the potential for more instability in an already tense region. Tina Kraus has the latest.
Israelis run for cover as sirens warn militants from Gaza are firing more rockets. A family of 3 in southern Israel was killed in the heaviest fighting along the Israel-Gaza border in 4 years. An Israeli soldier broke down as she saw more rockets flying in. The battle is escalating a day after Israeli forces assassinated the chief of Hamas. The militant group says 15 Palestinians were killed in that attack, including 7 civilians. More than 100 others were injured. Israeli commanders say they targeted the chief as payback for rockets Palestinian militants fired against Israeli towns. Israel's army said more than 200 rockets came in from Gaza overnight. Some were intercepted, but many made it through. The government warned Israelis living within 25 miles of Gaza to stay home and inside as the pounding continues.
My government has instructed the Israeli Defense Forces to conduct surgical strikes against the terrorist infrastructure in Gaza.
Dozens of Israeli tanks and soldiers moved into place near the border. Israel said it would not rule out a ground invasion if it comes to that. Tina Kraus, CBS News.
From Washington to Main Street, Americans are seeing the importance of reusing and recycling as a step toward helping the environment. Textiles are a big part of that process. Consumers donate millions of tons of clothing to be reused, but often those items don't end up where you might expect. Vanita Nair has the story.
After disasters like Hurricane Sandy, many Americans donate used clothes, hoping to fill a need in someone else's closet. But the mountains of hand-me-downs are sometimes more than can be used.
Some things will turn away at the door, like, hey, we have so many sweaters right now.
In fact, even without a natural disaster, charities often take in more clothes than they can sell or even give away. What you donate to your neighborhood nonprofit may become part of the overflow, which goes to secondhand processors like Adam Barukowitz.
How you doing?
He buys them for 5 cents per pound, picking up from bins and collection centers in New York City. Weeks after Superstorm Sandy slammed the Northeast, the donations are still piling up. Workers are getting close to people who need them, but sometimes there's just more than they can handle. Larger organizations like Salvation Army have that issue all year round. The charity keeps the best donations to sell in its stores. Much of the rest goes overseas, which is where a lot of Adam Barukowitz's inventory goes as well.
You'll see denims, women's, babies.
About half of what he collects is old or stained and gets shredded into rags and insulation. The other half is packed and resold to vendors that ship to less developed countries.
They have customers all throughout the world that have demand for these items.
Barukowitz calls it a win-win, since the sales generate cash for both businesses and charities and keep millions of tons of clothing out of the nation's landfills. Vanita Nair, CBS News, Brooklyn, New York.
And that wraps things up from the Global News Desk. To see more stories from across the country and around the world, such as the details about the final major movie in the U.S., you can tune in to TrojanVision Global News right after the nightly news. Now, back to you, Deatra.
Thanks so much, Sydney. Now, Justin McNally joins us with sports. So, Justin, the volleyball team is on the road for their conference tournament, right?
That's right. The Trojan volleyball team hit the road today, playing their first match, and they're looking to do something they have never done before. But I'll get to that and more here in sports. After an 0-3 start to the season, this year's volleyball team did not seem to be too promising. but they dug deep and found their way to the number 2 seed in the conference tournament and were able to pick up their first ever victory in the tournament. The Trojans defeated the Raging Cajuns in the first round of the Sun Belt Conference Tournament in 4 sets. After dropping the opening set, the Trojans were able to take the next 3 and advance to the semifinals for the first time in school history. In her first ever conference tournament, Blair Winston led the Trojans offensively with 19 kills, and Kayla Pickert added 14 more. Alexandra Alexander added another double-double to her stats as she posted 52 assists and 10 digs. Courtney Cohen added 21 digs for the Trojans, her 11th 20-plus dig performance of the season. Right before we went on air, we learned North Texas had won their match against Middle Tennessee State. The Trojans will play the Mean Green in the semifinals tomorrow at 4. After a close game against Winthrop, the Trojan women's basketball team hoped to regroup and turn things around at home against Mercer. But as Danielle Percival explains, this was another close game that the Trojans let slip through their grasp.
In their first home game in the new Trojan Arena, the women's basketball team made an intense comeback in the second half, but it wasn't enough to lead them past Mercer, falling by a score of 96-90.
We're going through some growing pains right now, and they're necessary. So whereas we would love for it to look all squeaky clean and pretty in front of our home fans, what's most important is we get to be as good a team as we can be, and like I say, we're going through growing pains that are necessary.
The Trojans jumped out to a 9-point lead in the first half, but fell behind by 11 at the break.
The collapse is going to happen when we're not pushing the ball up the court. Everything revolves around pushing the ball up the court quickly in 12 seconds or less, and then turn around and press behind it.
Troy was down by as many as 22 in the second half and 21 with 8 minutes left in the game, but pulled to within 3 with 28 seconds to go. One area that helped keep the Trojans in the game was three-pointers. Troy shot 52% from behind the arc and had 12 threes to Mercer's 2.
I feel like we didn't have enough faith in ourselves in the beginning, but towards the end, then it started kicking in and we were trying to do what Coach taught us.
We're getting used to how she wants us to play. We're going to get there. By the time conference comes, we're going to be unstoppable. So, we're 0-2 right now, but it's going to be 1-2 on Sunday.
McApian says with the coaching change this season, more has changed than just the style of play.
There was a lot of baggage last time, and now everyone's like, I've got a new opportunity to play. I'm going to prove to coach that I can play. So it's a big difference from last year. We're completely, it's the same core group of girls, but we're playing completely different.
Danielle Percival, Trojan Vision Sports.
The Trojans will return to the court this Sunday as they take on Furman. Tip-off is set for 2 o'clock. And celebrating its 10th year, the Trojan Rodeo teams will host the annual Trojan Stampede starting tonight at the Pike County Cattlemen's Complex. The women's side enters this event with a 273-point lead in the standings after 2 wins and a second-place finish so far this year. The men's side hopes to improve from its 10th-place standings in the Ozark region. The action is set to begin at 7 o'clock tonight, and it will continue throughout the weekend along with all the homecoming activities. And speaking of homecoming, the Trojan football team is gearing up for the homecoming festivities this weekend when they take on Arkansas State. The Trojans used to dominate the homecoming scene by winning 12 straight, but after a 52-35 loss in 2010 to FIU and a 38-33 loss to North Texas in 2011, the Trojans have now lost 2 straight homecoming games. And with the homecoming game approaching and all the perks it may bring, players still have mixed emotions about the festivities.
It's a little bit for me because, I think for the team and all the seniors too, because you want to go out with a bang, for if you're a senior, this your last college homecoming.
I don't pay much attention to that stuff, man. I mean, I'm sure some people do, some of the guys do, but I try not to get involved with all that.
Well, whether you like it or not, the homecoming celebrations have begun, and they will end with the game on Saturday. Kickoff is set to begin at 2:30 at Veterans Memorial Stadium. So as you can see, Deatra, Sydney, a big game for the Trojans this weekend. With this win, they can become bowl eligible. And, it's going to be homecoming. There's going to be a ton of people here. Maybe we can go out and impress the crowd.
Well, definitely hope the Trojans bring their A game, just like they did with Navy last week. That's
right. Pick up another victory. It's going to be crucial in the season.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Justin.
All right.
Thanks again, Justin. Coming up on Troy Trojan Vision Nightly News, we will get to know the current Miss Troy University.
But first, the weather has brought chills and shrills. So do we need to continue to bundle up for the rest of the week, Jamarlo?
Well, those cooler temperatures are definitely here to stay for the rest of the week and going into the weekend, but I'll give you more coming up next in weather.
I would tell anybody, if you're getting your master's, I would start with Troy first.
It's easy. You can take classes online. You take them on ground.
Because being a full-time mom, full-time dad, and working full-time with Troy, it was just perfect. It worked for us.
On campus or online, Troy offers you an extraordinary education with the flexibility you need. Troy University. It's all you need to know.
We both earned our master's in public administration, and I choose Troy.
We choose Troy.
That's right. We choose Troy.
There are heroes among us. They don't fly or bend steel or ride off into the sunset. They simply volunteer to look after someone else's health by providing comfort, lending a hand, or simply keeping us on track. Everyone's health needs a hero. Who will you look out for?
Find out how you can participate in improving our health. Visit iparticipate.org.
From the high-definition digital production studios of Troy University, you're watching the award-winning TrojanVision Nightly News.
And now Jamarlo Phillips joins us with weather.
Well, Jamarlo, it's gotten a little chilly outside, but what's it going to be like for this homecoming weekend?
It has, and for the homecoming weekend, we may have to bundle up, but I'll get into more of that right now. But first, let's take a look at our campus snapshot. Taking a look across Bibb Gray's quad right now, we can see that the sun has already set. Beautiful day on the quad. Taking a look at our current conditions, so skies right now are cloudy, temperature coming in at 51 degrees, dew point at 42 degrees, humidity at 72%. Barometer at 30.24 inches and steady, with our winds coming from the north-northeast at about 8 miles per hour. Taking a look at today's stats, today we're able to see a high of 51 degrees, a low of 41. Unfortunately, we weren't able to see any rain today. Sun rose this morning at 6:12 a.m. and has already set at 4:44 p.m. Taking a look at our temperatures from around the state, we can see that Mobile sitting down here at 64 degrees with cloudy skies. We can see that Huntsville as well, cloudy skies, a high of 54 degrees. Birmingham at 60 degrees. Montgomery 55, and in Troy we're at 51 degrees. Phoenix City 51, and Dothan 49 degrees. Taking a look at our current temperatures across the southeast right now, we can see that the whole southeast we're experiencing those mid-50 to low 60 degree temperatures. But as we take a look across the United States, we can see towards the northeast, they're experiencing very cool temperatures in those areas. In Maine, 33 degrees, and as we take a look towards the northwest, they are also experiencing very cool temperatures as well. Temperatures ranging from the mid-40s to low 50s. Taking a look at our departure from normal, we can see that in our area we're experiencing a decrease, about a 12 degree decrease of what we've been seeing in the past few days. And as we take a look at our current surface map, we can see that we have a few high pressure systems across the United States right now. But taking a closer look into our area, we can see that there's not too much going on in our area, maybe a few gusts of winds. But as we take a look towards the east, towards the Carolina areas, they're experiencing maybe a mild chance of rain in those areas, as well as a cold front going down towards the Tampa area in Florida and pushing out up into the Atlantic. Taking a look at our precipitation forecast, we can see that in our area we will not be experiencing any rain for the next 48 hours. But as we take a look towards the Carolina areas, they may be experiencing maybe up to a quarter inch of rain in those areas. Taking a look at Friday's forecast, our area will remain clear, and hopefully for homecoming, our area still will remain clear. So if you are getting out for homecoming, make sure that you just bundle up, because those temperatures are going to drop. But going into Sunday, our area will remain clear. As we take a look towards the Midwest, we can see they will be experiencing windy conditions in those areas. Taking a look at Monday's forecast, going into next week, our area will remain clear, and hopefully for going into the next week and on throughout the rest of the week, there will be no activity. Going into our tonight's forecast, mostly cloudy with light and variable winds coming from the north-northeast at about 4 miles per hour with a low of 41 degrees. Going into tomorrow's forecast, tomorrow we'll be seeing a few clouds in the morning, mainly sunny skies in the afternoon. Winds coming from the north-northeast at about 8 miles per hour with a high of 64 degrees. Take a look at our 4-day forecast. Looking at Friday, partly cloudy skies with a high of 64 degrees. Saturday, a high of 66. Sunday, a high of 68. And Monday, a high of 69 degrees. So, Deatra, Sydney, as we go throughout the rest of the week, those temperatures will remain cool for homecoming. Make sure that we have to bundle up.
Thanks, Jamarlo.
All right, thank you.